There's been a dramatic rise in the number of homeless people across the Northwest, according to a new survey published today by a national charity. Shelter says recorded homelessness has gone up by 24% after carrying out the most extensive review of its kind. There are now 9,350 people in our region classed as homeless. And there are 10 hotspots from South Ribble to the worst hit place, Manchester. It includes individuals sleeping on the streets, living in hostels, as well as families with children staying in emergency bed and breakfast accommodation. More than a third of the region's homeless are in Manchester, where 1 in every 154 of the population are homeless. Salford, Rossendale, Trafford and Rochdale are also badly affected. Well, Stuart Flinders has been talking to some of those who have nowhere to call home.
Let's have a look inside. Usman lives in a box.
No, this is my bed. I'm just fine. I sleep here.
It's cosy and safe, but it is still a box, and he has to share it. It's not a very big space, but is it comfortable?
Yeah, it is comfortable.
Is it warm enough?
It is enough, you know. Yeah, it is very nice.
Usman is a refugee from Sudan who found his way to this day centre run by the Catholic Church in Manchester's Moss Side.
We used to have people sleeping outside the front door here, and staff came to us one day and said, look, we've got to do something about this, and there was a person from a building company that offered to put a pod in for us, and we took advantage of it. You can see the cranes going up around the city, building flats and accommodation, but it's unaffordable to the sort of people we're working with.
Why has there been an increase in homelessness now? Is it simply down to a shortage of housing? Is it down to benefit cuts or a crisis in drink and drug abuse? The fact is, every case is different.
The two key factors that are driving this increase is a lack of affordable housing and welfare benefit reform, so cuts to the welfare benefit system, looking at bedroom tax, benefit cuts, and particularly housing benefit freeze for 4 years.
Yeah, it fits. It fits, thank you.
Graciano turns up at a homeless centre in Salford at just the right time. A donation of winter coats has just arrived.
Keep you warm. Thank you very much. It's the same as this, it keeps the window.
Originally from Angola, he's a British citizen. First he lost his flat in a row over rent arrears, and then his job as a delivery driver.
And as a delivery driver, you have to be focused. I couldn't focus.
So you lost the job as well?
I lost the job also because of...
So where are you sleeping now?
I'm sleeping in the streets. Like last night I slept in the National Coach Express. The night before that I slept there as well. Night before that I collapsed at night. I was taken by ambulance to the hospital.
You think that your landlord treated you unfairly.
That's
Do you
correct.
think you're responsible at all for your situation?
I'm not responsible for my situation. I'm not.
At least Usman has somewhere to return to tonight. For those who don't, it will be a long winter. Stuart Flinders, BBC Northwest Tonight.
Well, as we mentioned, Manchester has more homeless people than anywhere else in the Northwest. Earlier, I spoke to the City Council's Deputy Leader, Bernard Priest. I asked him if that was embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, but I think we have got to understand why it is that Manchester has got this problem. We are in the middle of an economic policy driven by the government which is forcing people into poverty. What I'm not embarrassed about is the response that Manchester City Council and its partners, its many partners, have made to this growing problem. And
it's obviously not working though, is it? If you're at the worst in the Northwest, whatever response you're doing, as yet, it certainly doesn't seem to be successful.
Well, that's a logical conclusion, but it's unfortunately based on an understanding that people stay put. People move around in the Northwest. Manchester is a place where jobs are concentrated, where there is a council that will support you, and people gravitate towards Manchester. And that gravitation is a good thing, but it also brings the problems to Manchester and doesn't distribute them across the Northwest. We are struggling, I have to admit that, to cope with this problem, but it's not of our making, it's not of the Manchester people's making.
There are cranes all over the skyline of Manchester putting up expensive flats for young professional people to move into.
Yeah.
You have control over the planning permission rules. Why don't you make developers make more of that available as affordable housing?
Yes, there are cranes all over the centre of Manchester, but there are also building sites all over the rest of Manchester. In the last few years, we've built more houses than almost any other city in the country. And of those, nearly half of them have been affordable houses.
So how do you get the homeless people into them then?
Well, we do it. Our social landlords across the city work very closely with us and give enormous priority to people who have fallen out of their own home to get them back into a settled accommodation.
Do you think, in a word, that you can tackle it and win?
I think we can play for a draw. This is not going to be won until the government understand that they're causing this problem.
Councillor Bernard Priest, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.